Welcome back to the knife studio. Today we're going to be doing part 3 of this Bowie knife build, and we're going to be working on the handle on this piece. Let's dive into it. Alright, so we've got the ricasso ready for the guard to be fit. I've got a piece of 1018 mild steel here. Got some lines marked out for I need to mill out the slot for the tang. Got a line here where I'm going to cut it off on the bandsaw. So we're going to cut this piece off, mill out the slot on the milling machine, and then go over to the vise with some files and get it to where it fits almost all the way on here, and then we'll start hammering it on the rest of the way, and then I'll start doing my microscope and high-speed dental burr removal of material to get that guard to fit up over the ricasso about 0.010 of an inch or so. So the ricasso will be inlaid into the guard. So I got this guard mostly fit, but decided to make a new one since this one was a little thinner than I wanted. Started out with 1/8 inch stock, and it ended up a little bit under 1/8 inch, and I wanted probably a little over 1/8 inch, so I went ahead and started with some 1/4 inch stock and made this guard, which is 160 thousandths thick. Got it fitting on there real nice and tight, and now I'm going to start fitting the front spacer and then the handle material after that. I think I'm going to try to get a block out of one of these triangular kind of pieces. I think I should be able to get a really nice size block for the size of this knife out of one of these. I think I'm going to go with this one first. Yeah, I need to get a front spacer on here, and then I'm thinking about just doing the rest of the handle as a solid interior mammoth ivory block, possibly for the rest of the handle. And then we'll pin the handle on or something so it won't be a takedown. Hot off the milling machine, used as a drill press, and we're about 3/16 gap there. So I'll try to use a broach. I don't know if my broach will quite fit in there. It's a little wider maybe. Anyway, I'll try to scrape that out with a broach and get this to fit all the way up on here. We'll have all the pieces here to start doing stuff. Yeah. Set in epoxy, and now it fits like a glove. It was really hard to get it off. Just barely was able to do it. I had it in the vise on my anvil and about pulled that over a little bit. But yeah, it fits on. Might be a tiny bit loose now because I lightly sanded the tang down just a little bit, so it's maybe a little bit loose, but we're still gonna epoxy this on when it's when it's all finished, at least it goes, indexes back to the same place every time now. And as far as I can tell, it looks like everything fits really tight. I think shaping down the ivory is about the next thing. I got all the pieces cleaned up because they had epoxy and Vaseline oozing all over them, so I got them cleaned up pretty good. Should be able to start doing some layout on this ivory and start getting the shape that we want on it instead of this big block. So I put some layout lines on this handle, and I was trying to get this extra beefy side down a little bit and this thinner side down, but it came out the opposite way that I wanted, so now the handle's gonna have to be skinnier. Might have to restart on it because it was just barely wide enough as it is, but now I've lost a whole 3/16 of width because I didn't get the handle mounted on there properly. Let's take a little break from shaping the handle on this knife because we just got some steel in from New Jersey Steel Baron. Feels like it's about 15 pounds or so. Not really sure. 20. Get it open. Stapled paper. Here it is. Yeah. So it looks like we got 4 pieces of 1/8 inch by 1.5 inch wide 1084. I use that for, that's the dark steel in my Damascus. And then we got a couple pieces of 1/8 inch thick 52-100 that's 2.5 inches wide for the chef's knives that Dad's making. Yeah, so we'll have some really nice wide stock that's just the right thickness for some of those. We got 2 sticks of that, so there should be enough there for probably like 7 or 8 8-inch chef's knives, I believe. Something like that anyway. Well, there's another unboxing. Time to get back to grinding and shaping that Bowie handle. I'm still shaping the Bowie knife handle down the way I want it. Still not certain if I'm gonna restart on it or not. The handle didn't come out where I wanted it to be and made it a little more narrow back here than I wanted, so I might have to take more out of here or something, see how that looks, and then possibly, if it looks good, we'll go with it, and if it doesn't, then I don't know what I'm gonna put on there necessarily. I think I have the end of the coffin shape the way I want it, and I got it pretty fine tuned in, close enough to where it can be hand sanded, I think, next. I'm still shaping these parts down to get it, try to make it look the way I want it. Now it looks like the handle shape is going to be just the right size for this knife because it's kind of a long, sleek knife. So the width is okay that I lost a little bit there. Looks like it's going to match up really well. Now I'm trying to figure out how I want to pin the handle on because that's the next step on this. I was thinking about doing some little domed pins, but I'm not sure that I'm going to really have time to do that right now. They are cool. I'm not really sure. I'll show you how you make them. You just have this dapping block. Little punch. This is just a little scrap of silver. Make a little tiny domed pin head, like a dog bone Bowie style pin head. Well, this one's a little bit extra small. So I don't know. If I did 2 pins, that would be, I'd have to make 4 of these little domed heads. That wouldn't be too bad. Definitely be easy to make them out of silver. I'm just not sure about bluing them or not, because I kind of want to make them out of steel and then blue them. That's probably too experimental for right now. So now I need to just decide if I'm gonna do silver domed pins or just have a little, I'm gonna have a little tiny domed pin no matter what, but I'm trying to decide if I wanna make these little washers that are extra large domes. Thinking about it, one in the middle, maybe I should just do like 1 on each end. I don't know. Let me see what these bigger ones look like. Get some more scrap silver out. That's right, thickness. Just need a little hole in that, I guess. 3/64 hole. This is something I used previously when I made some domed pins like this in the past for a different dog bone Bowie style. I'll go ahead and clean this up and see what it looks like just sitting it on here, see how big it is. It might be too big looking for this. I can do a smaller one, but might not be any point in doing a little tiny one. I might as well just do my little normal domed pins maybe. What do you think? Should I do a couple of these little silver pin heads. I'm not gonna do the blued ones right now for sure. I could do some silver ones. Gold, if I had some gold sheet. I think I'm gonna do 2 of the dome pins, but I'm trying to figure out where I wanna put them. Put one there, and one here. Don't want to center punch in ivory too much, but find the center of this one. Right there, and start drilling some holes. Now I'm gonna drill some 16th inch pin holes right here in the ivory, and get the tang prepared. I think only this front one's gonna go through the tang. This back one won't go through the tang. It's just gonna be for looks, but the front one will go right through the center of the tang and hold the handle on properly. I actually want to pilot this with a smaller drill bit. This one's a couple thousandths under 16th inch, so I'm going to pilot it with that, and then I'll run through it with the larger drill bit. Now I'm going to teach you something that can really make your life simpler and better when it comes to pinning a handle onto a tang like this. This handle is going to get completely finished and then super glued onto the knife. And if you have to drill a hole in that tang after it's all glued up, it can be a nightmare sometimes, because maybe your drill bit breaks off in the tang, or maybe the tang is a little harder than you thought and you can't drill a hole in it. So something that I like to do, like I said, just the front pin is the one that's going to go through the tang. The second pin actually doesn't go through the tang on this, which is fine. It only takes one pin to hold the handle on well. So, super cool trick to make it so you can have a pin that still holds. Like, one thing you can do is just oversize the hole in the tang, and then the pin will just be going through some epoxy, but that's kind of not as solid and secure as having it go through metal. So what I like to do is oversize, drill the hole in the tang. And the reason you need to oversize it is because when you put a clamp on this and big time push on it, and by the time I'm done shaping everything, that hole might not line up perfectly. So we're gonna make an oversized, like 1/8 inch hole or 3/16 or something in the tang, right where our pin hole goes. And then I'm gonna take some aluminum and pin it in there. And that way, when this handle's all glued up and everything, I can drill that, and the aluminum will drill real easy, and I'll have a nice solid pin fit, a nice solid structural pin in there as well. So yeah, let's do that. So first I need to make a little mark where the pin hole is. So I'll just run the drill bit down in there, and it should make a little mark on the tang. So now there's a little mark, and we'll just center punch that. Yeah, my tang is currently harder than my center punch. I think you should probably go ahead and soften my tang. Is a good time to do that right now, because that definitely needs done. I like to soften my tang, draw it back to a blue / kind of gray color that makes it a lot more springy and less brittle. Almost tempered the same as I would temper like a super flexible spring. You just do that with the torch. So it's really important to draw the temper back more than the rest of the blade on the tang, because you don't want the tang to be too hard and brittle and break. It could break off, especially like right here where it meets the blade. So I like to temper it and make it a lot more like a spring and less like a cutting edge. And I'll run that temper down into the ricasso a little bit. Starting to turn colors there a little bit. I'm gonna go for like a blue / right into the gray color a little bit, but not past gray. That'll make it a little bit easier for us to drill into and stuff as well, although it's still gonna be pretty hard for drilling.